Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, thank you, Vayeli. So, okay, yes, the next slot in the agenda is devoted to, yeah, to present to all of you. Thank you for joining to this training session. First of all, I would like to introduce the different bundles, the different piece of software that will be able to yeah to run from the marketplace to the gateway to the gateway, and let's explain the different features that these software bundles will have in the overall system. So yeah, it's the objective of this session is to present different bundles I mentioned. The risk detection bundle, real-time network analysis bundle, and other bundles dedicated to homomorphic encryption and attribute basic access control and social engineering attack recognition services bundle. And at the end of this slot, we'll also introduce the virtual security appliance bundle. So main some of these piece of software bundles will be available as we have mentioned at the very beginning of the training from the marketplace and instantiated through a process to the hardware that already has been presented. Uh, so some of these bundles will have a will be okay mm, mm, will be separated. I mean, in two parts. Part a piece of software that will be running on the gateway, and a piece of software that will be running on on the end on the endpoint. So let's say something in the small medium enterprise, something like a laptop, a desktop, and so on, just to make you an idea of some of these bundles will need to be deployed. Um, okay, so the first of all is the risk detection bundle, and mainly the risk detection module will detect threats. In this case, these threats will be attached or corresponding to system alerts in this endpoint that I mentioned that will be that will be generate an associated risk level, and later on this risk level could be further processed with other bundles, other modules that can work together. As we have mentioned, there are other bundles that make some decisions on the system, and depending the risk of level, they also can perform an action on another bundle, which will be in this case virtual appliance. A virtual appliance can be excited using an API to make any kind of reaction according a rule or whatever. But in this case, the risk detection bundle uh, will be uh, the different components. I mean, will be a part of this bundle running on the server on the FORTIKA gateway. In this case, it will be run on the ARM part. It's not an accelerated component, and the other components will be run on the endpoint. So will be different agents, risk agents. So the scenario will detect uh, will detect a threat in the risk bundle, and this threat will progress to a risk making a calculation in the risk bundle. So the next slide highlights the idea that the different assets in the system need to be yeah ponderated by a configuration tool, yeah, to detect or to identify how are they important, how much how much important are they to the system, and according to the alerts generated in this endpoint, an alert or the alert detected will produce a level of risk in terms of high, moderated, or low. And this risk will be, as I mentioned, processed to the with the system. So The next bundle I would like to highlight, it's a bundle related to the real-time network traffic analysis. So in this case, this bundle will allow to make a network analysis in real time and enables to know the states and the functioning of the network within certain conditions. Yeah, the the bundle also includes RRP spoofing detector, which will show different device connected to the network and will be able also to notify change in these connections in this MAC address and IP addresses. The main features of this bundle, real real-time network traffic analysis, as we had seen in the slide, dashboarding and reported analysis. It enrich data for geo-blocking, reputation, and trends, centralize the data in a hierarchical mode, and makes multi-domain management of data. As I mentioned, this bundle and the rest of the bundles for this slot and for FORTIKA concept will be available and deployed from a marketplace. It's based on open core and business model, activation of security policies, and also use a open REST API to be easily integrated. It's built also using open source technologies. So yeah, that's all for the real-time network traffic analysis. The next, in this case, the next two bundles, the attributed passive access control bundle and the next bundles that we will mention are similar to the first one, and they are split in different components. A part on the hardware, on the gateway, on the hardware part, on the on the FORTIKA gateway, and other other components need to be run in the endpoint for endpoint detection in the SME, in the laptop, in the servers that we will have in our organization. So in this case, the bundle will provide a solution for authorization as a service for small medium enterprise. It will be easy deployed in the FORTIKA marketplace, and it's based on a SACML policy where uh, administrators from the cloud side could be implementing a policy based on role-based access control policy and apply this policy to different endpoints in the small medium enterprise. It will be administrated from the cloud side, so as a component I mentioned in the cloud side, in the gateway side, and in the endpoint. Has a lowers latency, bringing the system to make near the end, support multiple gateways, uses also a REST API to easily interact and enhance and facilitate the integration, and it's built using open source technologies. The next bundle, it's the bundle, yeah, the main objective of the bundle is detect the social engineer attacks. And this bundle recognize these top attacks and has also architecture based on three components: cloud component, gateway component, and endpoint component. So it's yeah, supports low latency, so lowers latency, and it's based on a microservice architecture. So the endpoint protection is based on a solution on Dockers on the endpoint. The architecture, as I mentioned, and similar to attribute-based access control, is based on a cloud part, gateway part, and an endpoint. The agent in this bundle, in this solution, in this feature, will capture data at the endpoint related to message, chats, and will apply anonymization techniques and sends the data to the fog. In the fog, in the gateway, it calculates the social using social engineering risk value of this chat, of this conversation, and based on this, will uh, provide yeah, an output of this risk value associated to this conversation on this chat, yeah, process it in the cloud part. So yeah, that's the main feature of this bundle. As I mentioned, yeah, dedicated to the protection of the endpoints in the SME. The next bundle, it's related to the homomorphic encryption features. So in this, yeah, the main feature of this bundle is that it will allow SME to store its information on public cloud repositories and allows to uh, to use the information stored on the cloud on a secure way. So improves the cloud data security over a conventional approach due to its encrypts data before store them on a remote repository and allow users to perform a search in this encrypted domain. The traditional approach need to encrypt and decrypt the data when after, yeah, to further use this data, but this solution enables that the users can make search over encrypted data in the cloud server. It's yeah, deployed also using FORTIKA Marketplace and has in this case also two components. Component, no, three components. I mean, in a cloud component and gateway component on the hardware, on the FORTIKA gateway, and the endpoint yeah, client to upload and download and make the search over this encrypted data. So yeah, this slide will explain the difference I mentioned between the homomorphic encryption and the conventional approach, which I mentioned regarding the conventional approach needs to encrypt and decrypt the data, and homomorphic encryption solution enables to search data on an encrypted domain using a key or a string for this data, and it's not necessary to decrypt all the data to make a search. Okay, and the last but not least is security appliance implemented as a bundle and that will run virtualized in the FORTIKA gateway. So the main feature of this bundle is related to network security. So it's a network security appliance. It will process packet preprocessor for network traffic aggregation. It includes an IP tables firewall, and as I mentioned at the very beginning, implements a REST basic communication interface which enables other bundles, other modules to interact, to excite this gateway, this virtual firewall to inject a rule, to delete a rule, to modify yeah, a rule database according to something that has been detected in the system, in the gateway. It enables a firewall rule, story database, and has also an attack detection rule repository by default. Uh, Includes an alert preprocessing parser and alerts mechanisms, and also includes other important features related to TLS termination module for TLS traffic inspection, which is a real nice feature. And also it's also includes I accelerated ADS based on FPGA feature, which has been mentioned at the beginning of the description of the hardware component by Artiris, which accelerate the process of intrusion detection system. Yeah, and also includes an email spam detection. So the architecture, the picture for this virtual security appliance for this bundle, it includes a part that will run on the FPGA, so it will be accelerated, it will be multi-pattern matching algorithms accelerated on the gateway, and after this acceleration, the rest of the processing will run on the RM part of the gateway for implement security features. So, sorry, it's very quickly a presentation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bundles, 5 features different in the available in the FORTIKA marketplace, and as we have mentioned, questions and answers sure can be asked at the end of the session. So, okay, thank you. That's all from my part.
Oscar, I thank you for the presentation, and I understand that you presented also bundles for the responsible partner was different. So sometimes it's difficult to interpret the spirit of the developer. But as you know, we preferred to have this all these bundles in one presentation in order to save time. But
Sure.
it was a very good presentation, even in brief, due to time limitations. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And next follows a slot with a demonstration of the live system. Who will be the presenter, Yannis Nikoloudakis or Alice Chernivis?
Hi, Vangelis. I will do the presentation. This is Aleš Chernivis from XLab.
So next
I will do.
Yes.
Yes.
Alice Chernivis is our colleague from Slovenia. He represents XLab. XLab is a company that specializes in cloud services. And in FORTIKA, Alice's company has the role to provide all services related to cloud for the marketplace. And if I miss something, Alice, please correct me. Also, another colleague from the Hellenic Mediterranean University is participated in the development of applications over the marketplace, Yannis Nikoloudakis. Now, Alice, I will make you now the presenter.